All right, all right, all right. There we go. I think we are live. Go full screen. All right, and we are back. Thank you guys for joining us. Have more than money. I know we got a couple of people right now that are watching. Maybe we'll give it a little bit more. Jared, in the meantime, why don't you introduce what we're going to be talking about today?
What's up, guys? So today we are going to cover the best investments you can make in 2020. Today, what can get you the richest, the quickest? Honestly, I spend my entire life literally just looking for the best ways to invest my time and my money. And I'm very happy to show you guys those ways.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, these aren't even, theoretical ideas that we thought of. These are things that, I'm putting into action, and mainly Jared has put into, serious action himself. I think every single thing that we're going to cover today, Jared, obviously, you've done yourself. So, it's much easier when it's not theoretical. It's, an actual action plan. Do you want to wait a little bit longer for some people to join us, or do you want to just jump in, Jared?
Yeah, I guess while we wait, we could just talk about, just what a day in the life is like of someone that does, e-commerce full time. Today was a good day. Let me see. Can you see this? So here's one of my stores. Okay. It did actually 19K today for anyone that's watching. I think we only have 2 people watching, 4 right now. I'll just keep showing this now. So, 19K in sales. And honestly, I can say I did not put any work in. So, that's always a great time.
If you're flexing sales, then So today I played some handball. I hung out with my family, and today for the day we are at.
Let's see it.
Right around 12.9. We'll round it up to 13K. But like I said, I didn't do any work today. Really, I did a little bit of customer service, but I think that really just goes to show the true power of putting the time into something beforehand. You're building a money machine when you're building an online business. And so, you put the work in the beginning. I see Rashawn is here. Sean, I know the feeling, putting the work in and then, reaping the benefits for months and months after the fact.
Yeah. Honestly, guys, I guess we'll get into the video now. We have 10 people watching. It's 8:05. So that leads us to what we're going to do right now is we're going to break down the 5 best investments of 2020. So we'll start with the first thing you need, right? When it comes to building wealth, right? A lot of people might say cash is king. They are absolutely wrong. Cash is not king. In a lot of ways, cash can almost be worthless. What actually is king is cash flow, right? So what do you need? You need to create cash flow because that is the first and most important thing for you to become wealthy. Think about it. What you need to do is make a lot of money, so then you can save a lot, then you can invest a lot, and ultimately multiply that money. You need money to make money. And the first thing you need is cash flow. So Mike, what would you say is one of the best, if not the best way to get cash flow today?
Yeah, this might sound obvious, but you're talking to 2 guys who found that success in cash flow through e-commerce. We've discussed this so many times before that, you can build businesses. If you maybe want to open up a franchise or, you want to open up a sports store in your neighborhood. At the end of the day, the number one type of business that can produce that kind of cash flow is e-commerce. And, obviously, we're high ticket guys. So out of all the ways, that's our favorite. But the reasons are honestly just endless. Jared, we just spoke about a couple minutes ago how, we didn't really do any work today. And yet combined, we were at like 35, 40K in sales. And so, I think that really just goes to show the true power of e-commerce.
Yeah. The thing about e-commerce as to why it's the most powerful way to develop cash flow, or better yet, the best investment to make financially, is because there's no other way where you can literally build something and then run ads to it and almost forget about it while it triples your money every single day. Like, guys, the store that Mike owns that we actually co-own, I've actually never seen a store like it. It literally spends like $100 a day in ads, $150 a day in ads. And the profit is literally like $600, $700, $800 almost every single day. We don't need to touch it. We don't need to think about it. We don't need to worry about it. we literally don't even make any changes. It literally it produces unbelievable returns every single day. And there's nothing else like it. You know, investing in stocks, you still have to day trade. You still have to wake up and, you know, pick new trades. Real estate, you're never going to buy one house and get rich. E-commerce, literally one business has infinite potential. You know, you do it, you find an amazing product, you start making, you know, let's just say a few $1,000s a month profit. Guess what? All you have to do is find another product and you could be making double that, and then another one and triple that. And by honestly following the exact formulas that we teach to our students and just doing it over and over and over again, that's how we've created all these stores that, you know, bring in close to $1 million or sometimes even over $1 million in a single month.
Exactly. And I think, you know, it might sound obvious why e-commerce is so great, but, you know, for people who maybe don't know why, one of the main reasons is that, you know, the people say that, you know, the world is your oyster. You know, for us, our particular business, you know, when you have a business, a brick and mortar store in your town, you can only sell to the people in your community. But when you sell online, you can literally sell to, I mean, you know, we only sell to the country, but, you know, a lot of people, their online businesses sell to the entire world. And so think about how much more open your possibilities are, you know, how much you can really scale an online business as opposed to something like a brick and mortar store. You know, obviously the number 2 reason that we love e-commerce is because you can pass off the responsibilities to employees. You know, you can outsource. So that way, you know, obviously the number 1 thing that should be on your mind when starting any business is your time. Because, you know, you don't want to start a business and have all of your time be sucked in, and, you know, you're pretty much just creating a job for yourself. You know, that's the primary difference between being an entrepreneur and being self-employed, is that, you know, an entrepreneur can outsource, you know, or maybe not outsource isn't the best word to use, but, you know, they can hire other people to do the bulk of the work. So that way, you know, you as the boss can do whatever the hell it is that you really want to do.
Yeah. I mean, that really is the truth, is that you're really not an entrepreneur if you own a business and you're spending every second of every day working on it. You really don't become one until you own something that you literally never think about, never have to worry about, never have to work toward. And that's the thing about an online business. It's like the difference between being trapped in a miserable store that doesn't have potential, you know, dirty ceilings, or you hear the same song over and over again, getting yelled at by your manager, or if you own it, just being the guy yelling at people, or just literally having something in a computer that generates income and honestly has endless potential, as opposed to only selling within their zip code or, you know, within that neighborhood. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it really can't get any better than e-commerce when it comes to generating cash flow, when it comes to generating income, when it comes to making 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month, 30 grand a month online. There's nothing that is going to do that quicker or has better potential than selling online.
Yeah, no, I mean, exactly. And at the end of the day, you need cash flow one way or another. So find a way to build a business. If it's not going to be high ticket e-com, maybe it'll be Amazon FBA or whatever it is. You just better believe that it's a business model that you really believe in and that you know can bring you that consistent cash flow. Because, you know, we're not saying that you want this cash flow so you can go out and buy a new car or, you know, waste it on things that you don't need. You're going to do stuff with that money. And so, Jared, I don't know if you want to say anything else about that first pillar, or you want to just dive into the second.
Yeah, so, I mean, guys, once you start generating cash flow, which, like we said, we think the best way to do it is e-commerce. You know, not only does e-commerce have the best potential, but the risk isn't even crazy. Like, the businesses that we teach, that me and Mike teach, you're really never going to lose more than 3,000-4,000 at the very worst. Like, that's literally worst possible case scenario. So the risk is minuscule, but as far as the potential, you can literally make endless money, right? So once you're making money, the question is, what do you do with that money? And at that point, what you're going to want to do and what you're going to need to do is you're going to want to take 10% of every dollar you make and dump it into a high yielding type of investment stock market portfolio account. You know, right now I have a stock market account that I literally never touch. I don't know anything about the stocks, but I know it's diversified. The company is a very well reputable company. And at this point, guys, I've saved in just this account alone, I've actually saved over 100,000. And it's so incredible because, you know, I recently put 100K in that account and it went up 1% today. And when you see it go up 1%, it might not sound like a lot, but when you have 100K in there, I made $1,000 today off literally a diversified stock account that I knew nothing about. I had no knowledge, and you can start with this app with as low as $500. So obviously, if you're in the program, we talk about it in the mindset course. If you want to know about it, what I use exactly, you can DM me. But yeah, once you start making money, once you have a high flowing cash flow system, the best thing to start investing in right away is a diversified stock market portfolio, specifically one that we recommend. Because if you do try to invest in regular stocks yourself, then you're not going to be as protective. You can invest in index funds like the S&P 500, but you're dealing with a lot more risk than if you use a diversified portfolio.
Yeah, I think another big thing to note is, Jared said he has $100,000 in that account. So, he made $1,000, but, some people at home were probably thinking like, all right, let's say I only have $1,000. And, it's that at that point, it'll only go up whatever it is, XX and X. But that's not really the way that you should think about it. And that's not the way you should think about money in general, What your real mindset should be is have the compound effect kind of in your head. So yes, maybe to start, you only put $500 to $1,000. But if let's say you're working a job, every paycheck, you put a little bit in there. Or if you have a business that's already bringing you cash flow, you put some of that paycheck into this portfolio. Like over time, it really will compound. And before you know it, maybe you'll have like $40,000, $50,000 where, on good days like today, you can, see a real profit from this type of portfolio. I think another reason that we like it is, like Jared mentioned, just because of how secure, we really feel about it. It's the stock market in general, it's always going to go up. It's like, yes, it's going to go down sometimes, especially given the uncertainty of what's happening right now. But at the end of the day, it's always going to go up. And so the only real losers of, this most recent like stock market crash per se were the people who sold their stocks when it crashed. Because, me personally and Jared personally, we bought stocks when they were at their lowest. And, everyone's like, oh, I'm not going to buy this stock. It's down. I hope everyone watching this knows, or if not, now you want to buy stocks when they're low, not when they're high. And so just getting back to my point is that, it's always going to go back up. And so that's kind of the mindset that you have when you buy stocks low is it's always going to go up. So with a portfolio like this, it's similar where it's like, it's pretty safe to say that it's going to go up in like a year's time.
Not even a year's time. I mean, guys, the thing about the stock market, right, is that it has always gone up. If you go on Google and type in the S&P 500, from the day it started to today, it's gone up over 2,000, points or whatever. But here's the thing. The biggest mistake you can make with stock investing, and specifically like what we do, which is a long-term portfolio, something that we know is going to be profitable over a 30-year term. The biggest mistake is to not get involved. I started with literally $500, guys. I literally put $500 in before I was even making money online. That's why when I actually teach students, I teach them to learn how to save before they learn how to make money, right? And as much as it sounds opposite, you're actually better off learning how to save first. And the reason being is that if you don't know how to save money, what do you think is going to happen once you start making money? You're not going to save it and you're going to blow it. But if you know how to save money, then the moment you start making it, you're going to know exactly what to do. And it's going to be so easy for you to multiply your money. Like I said, I started my stock account with $500 in 2018, December of 2018. And now it's July of 2020. And in that one specific account, I have 100K. And it really is an unbelievable feeling to see that disciplined saving, or better yet, a cash flow system that makes a lot of money mixed with disciplined saving, what it can do for you. And now the more money I have in it, like I said, I can go up 1% like it did today. It literally went up 1% and I made $1,000. And that's the thing about saving, guys, is that when you save in the right stock market account, it will actually become an income source for you. I don't even need to worry about my e-commerce store if my stock portfolio is going to make me $1,000. Like, think about it. That's not even my real source of income. I have 6 stores. Whatever they made me is irrelevant because that alone made $1,000. Guess what would happen if I had $1 million in that account? I would have made 10 grand today. If I had 10 million, I would have made 100 grand today. So that's what you have to think about is, start saving, as quickly as possible. The account I use, you can literally start with $500. Like I said, me and Mikey mentioned it in our mindset course. The exact app we use, you never need to know the stocks. You never need to worry about it. You literally just start putting money in. And as long as you're disciplined, you will see it grow. And as it grows, it will produce better return.
Yeah, and also we don't want to confuse people. Like this method of investing in, the long-term all-weathered portfolio, this isn't something that, we just thought of. We woke up, we were like, oh, let's try this. There are like very high-level people, and most millionaires invest like this. Jared, I think we first came across it from Tony Robbins. Is there anyone else?
Method we read at least I read Money Master the Game and Unshakable by Tony Robbins. Unbelievable books. And yeah, he really opened our eyes to this exact form of investing. And that's the thing, guys, right? When you read a book, you got to take it from the book into your hands, right? You can't just read something and not do anything with that information. So as soon as I read the best way to invest in stocks is with an all-weathered portfolio, I literally just started looking up how to create my own. And then what I came across was robotic advisors. And that's exactly what we use today, our robotic advisors. There's many different companies out there, but the one I've been using for 2 years is phenomenal. Like I said, most of my friends use it, a lot of my clients use it. And if you ever want to learn the exact one we use, that is something that we give to our students. But yeah, I'm not going to say the name on YouTube and give free advertising or anything like that. So
yeah, John, if you want to add anything else in terms of weathered.
Nothing to add, but guys, just keep in mind, right, that saving is not the end all be all, because you need to make a lot of money first, right? If you're making only $3,000 a month, you can't possibly save as much as the guy making $30,000 a month. So first and foremost is you need to create a serious cash flow system. Second is you need to start saving and investing that into stocks right away.
Exactly. Because think about it. If your money is just sitting in your checking account, let's say you have $4,000 sitting in your checking account, it's not making you money. And honestly, it's losing money. It's depreciating while it's just, it's rotting in the bank. So, if you know that you're not going to need, let's say, $1,000 of that, put it in an all-weathered portfolio. It's not going to go up an insane amount in a couple of days. It's not like you're trading options or whatever where you can hit big. It's going to slowly go up. But like I said, it's better than it just wasting away in your savings account.
Well, also, guys, think about like this too. Never compromise the money that you could be investing in your business for the portfolio. The business comes first, right? Like I said, nothing is going to produce better returns than an e-commerce business, because you can just keep running ads and scaling ads. So what I would do is I would invest as much back into the business as possible. But assuming you do it right, assuming you listen to everything we say, the business should be so cash flow positive that you'll honestly have so much money you don't know what to do with. That's the thing, is I don't even have the products to invest anymore in ads at this point, because for my best products, I'm literally investing the maximum amount I can. And at this point, the only thing left to do is to find more products. So, once you get to that point where you have more money coming in than you know what to do with, obviously do not blow it. Start building up that stock market portfolio. And then once you built it up to a certain point, that's when you can decide what you want to do. So the way to stay rich and never go broke is to put majority of your money into a passive portfolio that will compound interest, and then slowly take money out to do two things. One, either start new businesses, or two, buy real estate.
Yep. And that's a perfect segue, I think, into our third point here is real estate. Like we said, you need the cash flow. You need money to make money. So get the cash flow, save smartly with the all-weather portfolio, and then when you're at a point where you can invest in real estate, Jared, we talk about this in some past videos, but let's go into a little bit now. If you can get to a point where you have pretty steady cash flow and you can save $20,000, you can buy your first investment property.
Yeah, the thing about real estate, guys, you can't really compare it to stocks, to what we do with stocks. Because what we do with stocks, you literally don't have to do anything for, right? And here's the thing, is it's really only going to go up 10% per year. Some years it might even finish down. But with real estate, you're not just buying something that's going to appreciate, you're buying something that is going to produce cash flow. I have a friend who he was telling me, like, one of his family members used to own a full block on Brooklyn and in 1970, but needed the cash and sold it. And, that block is like quadruple what it was worth then. Like, think about real estate like that. real estate is something that's going to, one, maybe make you some positive cash flow, right? Like the property I bought, I'll admit I have had some issues. I had to evict a tenant recently. There's been a lot of pains in the butt, but it's already been cash flow positive, and it's going to go up in worth. If I hold this for 20 years, I'll probably be able to sell it. I bought the whole house for 80,000. I would assume in 20 years I'll be able to sell it for 95, 100,000. So that's the thing about real estate, is the more you buy early, the more that will compound. Compound interest, as I see Valdez wrote it here, is the most powerful force in the world, guys. It's so true, in every aspect, whether it's your business, whether it's stocks, whether it's real estate, everything compounds. All you have to do is do it for the first time. I bought my first property, and I'm already ready to buy my second one very soon. And guess what? Within 10 years from now, I'll probably have 40, 50 properties. Within 20 years from now, I'll probably have 200, 300. That's compound interest. The only people we know that never get rich are the people that never started, right? Anyone that started, if they haven't gotten rich yet, it's because they either aren't far long enough in the process or they quit too early. So, there's a lot of things to think about. I know I've said a lot in the last minute. But
yeah, let me take a puff of your inhaler, Jared. Take a break. But yeah, when we start getting into real estate, that's when we start talking about real wealth. Real estate really is, and especially the method that we do it. And so just to kind of break down for people who don't know, Jared recently purchased a property in Ohio. He put $20K down for a full-blown 2-family house, and he also hired a property management company to pretty much run the daily, any kind of issues that Jared may have with the property management company handles it. And so just think about, we're big passive income guys. Think about just how passive it makes it when, one, Jared never flew to Ohio, didn't check out the house before it. That's one. And two, never will need to see it. This property management company, knock on wood, will literally take care of everything, any and all issues that may arise. And so just think about, when he's obviously collecting the rent, when it gets to a point in a couple of years where, maybe the house is paid off, or, he wants to refinance and duplicate the process, just how much easier it is when it's, one, an inexpensive property, and two, he has somebody else taking care of it for him. And I think, I can never say this word, the duplicability of it, or the whatever the word is truly amazing when you're buying a house with $20,000 down, rather than, I live in Long Island, New York. If I wanted to buy the house across the street from me, I would need $200,000, $300,000 to put down on that house. So that's something that, we like to talk about with maybe people are like, oh yeah, I want to buy a house out in the city. Like, maybe consider this instead.
Well, and also the taxes in New York are just awful. I mean, listen, as someone once said, about me, it was like I went from looking for suppliers on e-commerce to looking for houses on e-commerce. I kind of just kept the e-commerce vibe to it. I never had to leave my room. All I had to do was do a little searching online, made a few calls, wire transferred some money, and just like that, I own a house. Until this day, that's literally all I do, is I make a few calls, and that's it. Honestly, the house is ran by my property management team. They collect the rent, they deposit it into my bank account. I literally don't worry about it. If something needs to get fixed, my property manager lets me know. We get it fixed. And ultimately, guys, like when we were talking about the compound interest with real estate, the more houses you own, think about it. Like this house that I own right now is profiting me around $700 to $800 a month. If I own a second one, then I have 2 houses profiting me $1,600, 3 profiting $2,400. I have a friend who actually has a client. He works with a lot of rich people, and he has a client that has 4,000 units, right? And all those units, all he did was raise rent $10 on each unit. And just like that, his company is making an extra $40,000 a month. And that's compound interest for you, to have that many units where you raise rent so little that no one complains, but now your company is doing that much better. Also with real estate is the more real estate you own, the more it goes up in value. Like think about it. If you own, $100,000 worth of real estate, it goes up 3%, you made $3K. If you own $1 million and it went up 3%, you made, $30K. So, think about that too, is everything is compound effect. As we said earlier, as Valdez said here in the chat, And I mean, it really applies to everything in life.
Exactly. Compound, whether it's your money or even, we've talked about it before, good habits, how, habits over time will compound. And, you know, that's why watching Netflix is always so tempting, because it gives you that instant gratification where, reading a book one night won't give you that kind of instant gratification, won't yield that kind of results. But, when you start doing this over time, you start investing in, hey, I love to hear the ka-ching.
Nothing better than things live stream.
Love it. Yeah, when you start practicing better habits over time, when you start investing your money more smart over time, you really have to be thinking long term, because if you only have that short-sighted vision, your actions, if your actions reflect only seeing the short side of things, you're not going to be good. You're not going to be well off. But when you have the long term in mind, and you're really willing to put your neck out, your money out, your time out for that long term vision, you are 1,000 times better off. Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing, is the difference between people that are successful and people that aren't successful is that successful people don't go crazy when something bad happens short term. Successful people have a vision and they stick with it long enough to see it through. That's the real difference. Me and Mike, if you think we didn't fail many times before we became successful, then, you're out of your mind. I mean, we literally, as Mike can tell you, we failed almost every business we've ever started. That's the beautiful part, is that you only need to succeed once, twice. And then honestly, once you succeed twice, it kind of becomes easier to succeed. And also failures just don't hurt as much. When you have successful businesses cash flowing you positive every single day, then you can fail and not care. And, for us, our businesses honestly make money every single day. People believe in jinx. I don't even care. I'll say it out loud. I'll scream it. I promise you that will not change anything. I've tried to jinx myself just to see. Like, that's the thing, is that we literally have failed endless times, but we finally became successful. And honestly, I just don't ever think there's a chance of us going back. And the reason why I could say that so positively is because we've spread ourselves out across so many different income sources that there's no possibility they're all going to crash on the same day. And I can tell you right now that some of my income sources, since I was so disciplined with my saving, have honestly, I feel as if they made me financially free just because of the amount I saved up, that even if the business crashed, I still wouldn't be concerned, because I know I have more than enough to just start new businesses and be successful.
Jared, can I at least get a knock on wood or something? No.
I got it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, just going back to what you were saying, Jared, about failing. I think it also becomes easier to fail. You said when you succeed, it makes it easier to fail. And I think that's so true, because, when you fail and then this is going to sound corny, when you overcome the failure and then you keep pushing and then you finally do make it, it might sound corny. I'm King Corn, but it really, it changes something in your mind where it's like, all right, wait, I failed here. Me and Jared, I failed in low ticket. I lost $10,000. And then the next week I was up building my first high ticket store. And, obviously now it's a successful e-commerce store. And so, after that was, I would say, one of my biggest failures was failing in low ticket. You really just think of failing in a completely different light. I'm able to now see the positives in every single negative situation. And again, it sounds so cliche, it's making my ears hurt, but it really is so true that, when you fail and you've been through the shit, the better days, it feels so much better. And, just moving forward, rainy days don't get to us as bad anymore.
Yeah. I mean, like I was saying, the key is multiple sources of income, guys. As we talked about earlier, the fact that my stock market account made that much, it was like I didn't even care about my e-commerce stores. And that's how you have to be. One successful business, I promise you, it's just not enough, because one successful business, it's going to have its bad days, and you're going to panic, because when this becomes your life, like it is me and Mike, it's like we need to do well every single day. I'm telling you guys, I don't care how well I've done in the past. I don't care how much money I've saved. I don't care how much sales I've made in the past. I treat every single day like I'm at zero. If you're watching this and you haven't made a single sale yet, I promise you, I treat every day either the same as you, or I probably work a lot harder, because I literally act as if I have zero. I've had friends once tell me, like, what would you do if you were broke? And I literally just say, I would get rich. And I don't think it sounds stupid, but the reality is that there's a reason why I'm not broke. It's because if I was broke, I would get rich. I would do things to not be broke. So, if you are watching this and you're financially, not well off yet, then understand the only way you're going to actually make a difference in your life is by changing your daily routine. If you spend a little bit each day working on bettering yourself, whether it be mentally, physically, or financially, spiritually, you're going to get there. If you work 1 to 2 hours a day on an e-commerce business, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, your life will be completely different.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned, the multiple streams, and I think it would be so hypocritical of me and Jared to not have multiple streams of income, because we're always saying, how secure is a job really? And this is something that we've talked about. How many Americans or people all across the world got a wake up call when COVID first hit? They got fired, and it was like, your company may make you feel so safe and secure until something hits the fan. And it's like what now? And so that's also the huge importance of having multiple streams of income. So that way, God forbid one goes down, you'll have another one to lean on. And in my mind, I don't think any business is invincible. I think there's always some kind of godforsaken scenario that could take down any business. And so, that's kind of what creates almost like a sort of paranoia, where it's like, all right, I need to keep building more for myself, and for, when you have such big aspirations like Jared and I have, you don't just think about yourself. We don't just think about our future family that we're going to have in 20 years. We think about generations. When I'm dead, my great grandkids are going to be well off because of the work that I put in these next 20 years. And when you think that big, your daily actions are changed. If I really mean that, and I truly want my great grandkids to be well off because of my success, then I have no time to just be, messing around. I need to do things that'll help me get to that point.
Yeah. Mike, when you put it that way, it just makes it so easy to invest long term, right? Like, people want to get rich in a month or 2 months. It's like, dude, we're talking about something that's going to make you rich forever. If you're doing e-commerce, you need to understand how big this stuff actually is. We really believe that it's honestly in its infancy till this day. We really believe that e-commerce has 20 years left of still being in its infancy, let alone its prime. So think about that, guys. If you're so obsessed with getting rich off in 1 to 2 months, it's like, come on, man. Like, the reality is that you're trying to create something that's going to set you up for life. If everyone could do it in 1 to 2 months, it wouldn't be worth that much, right? Like, the reason why it can actually set you up for life is because it requires hard work. It's because it requires trial and errors. It requires learning all the skills, learning all the techniques, and more importantly, scaling your business. You're going to run ads that are just not going to be efficient until you make them efficient. As vague as it sounds, as long as you trust the process and work with us, we can see things happen over a 6-month span, a 12-month span, a year from now, you might not even need us anymore. We have some students that, are obviously still paying monthly because they're happy, but the reality is that they don't even need us anymore because they're doing so well. And, I don't want to give anyone ideas that's watching this, but the point I'm getting at is that the monthly payments that we charge can literally make you $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month. And obviously at that point, if you're still going to cancel, then, it's upsetting to us, but we just know that the value we're providing is really, worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit a month. I truly believe that.
Yeah, and I also hate when, I'll get a DM on Twitter or whatever, a friend will ask me, they're like, hey, like, I need a couple extra bucks. Like, can you teach me? Like, I need a new way to make like I need a couple $100,000, whatever it is. And I'm like, that's just the wrong mentality to have. And, it really turns me off to the entire conversation when someone comes up to me and is like, yeah, I need a couple extra dollars. Like, can you teach me e-commerce? Like, a part of me is almost like offended. Like, you think that it's really that easy to have a store up and running and, you know, run some ads and you can have a couple of extra dollars. Like, that's just not the reason that you should be doing e-commerce or you should be starting a business. You know, I think that, you know, the true intentions of starting a business should be about wanting more for myself. You know, I can't do this job. Like, I hate working for my boss. Things like that. You know, I got a DM earlier today. Someone was like, wrote me this entire paragraph. It was like heartfelt, as if I knew this person my entire life. And he was pretty much just like, you know, I'm 40 years old. Like, I'm divorced. Like, I know there's more out there for me. Like, I want more for myself, and I can't get that at my job. And those are the kind of DMs I'm like, wow, like, all right, let's get you up and running. Let's start this business. Because, you know, when you have those kind of intentions, you know, we always talk about how important your whys are. You know, if your whys are to buy a Lamborghini or, you know, sail on a yacht, like, listen, those are cool. I probably want, I want those things for myself down the road, but those aren't real whys. You know, you need whys like, I want to live a more fulfilled life. You know, I want to live life on my own terms. As cliche as that sounds, it's true. You know, when you're a real entrepreneur, you can really live life on your own terms. And like I said, do whatever it is that you really want to do. And, you know, those kind of whys, when, you know, I spoke about it on past live streams about, you know, how my family is a lot of my wives, you know, my whys. You know, my sister's going to 3rd grade next year. I want to pay for her college. You know, I want my mom to stop doing the tutoring after hours. You know, I want to fly my dad to Chile to see his family. These are the kind of whys that will make you get up in the morning and, like, actually get shit done. All right. So if you're struggling to, you know, wake up and, you know, you dread every day of the week, then it's probably time that you start changing your habits and start actually writing down your whys of life, per se.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, guys, like, your whys, the better way to put it is pull. You know, if you have to push yourself to go after it, you're just never going to succeed. You know, and I like what you brought up, Mike, about when people ask, you know, how to make a few $100. It's like, I had a guy once ask me, like, hey, can you teach me how to make $100 a month? I was like, what? Like, $100 a month? I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, what is that going to do for you? You know, like, I can teach people how to make $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $100. It's like, that would be harder for me to teach than how to make $5,000, honestly. Or the best was, I had someone tell me once, we need to sit down one day and you need to tell me this e-commerce stuff. I was like, you think I could just teach you e-commerce in one conversation? Like, it just does not work like that. The only way to be successful with e-commerce is to give a few hours a day to it and continue to be consistent for weeks, months, years, and probably the rest of your life. Honestly, I don't think I'll ever stop selling online. I mean, I don't know how I could when I'm live streaming, telling you guys how it's literally the greatest investment I've ever made. It's the greatest investment Mike's ever made into a cash flow system. And that leads us to the next investment that is ultimately the best investment you can really ever make, which is in yourself, right? That's what me and Mike started with. You know, we read books on entrepreneurship. We bought courses that didn't work until we finally bought courses that did work. And that's the thing. You know, if you think that the first course you're ever going to buy is going to make you succeed, you know, you'll probably quit pretty quickly and never succeed. We bought many courses, many books. We literally never stopped investing in ourselves till this day. I read books and listen to books every day. I watch new courses. I'm looking for the new ways to make money online. And that's the thing. Like I said earlier in the live stream, guys, if you're watching this and you've never made a sale, I am literally treating every day the same as you.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, investing in yourself is kind of a broad thing to say. You know, we consider investing in yourself, like Jared said, buying courses, reading books, building high income skills. And this is something that, you know, we've talked about and we'll continue to talk about, the importance of having these high income skills. You know, God forbid, you know, all of our businesses crash and, you know, or I'd say the whole world resets and every person starts at zero. The rich people are going to get rich again and the poor people are going to get poor again. Why? Because the rich people have built a mindset and have built skills that no one can take away. You can take away all the money that anyone ever has, but you can't take away their knowledge. You know, listen, maybe you can knock them over the head with a baseball bat and they'll forget all of it. Basically, there is no way to forget the knowledge. And, you know, once you have the skill of building a website, let's say building a website, the bare minimum, You can literally make money just from knowing how to build a website. You can go into a shopping center, look at all the stores in the shopping center, search if they have a website. If not, you probably have $5,000 in that one business. That's a pretty crazy idea, that knowing how to build a website, and I'm not talking about coding. I'm not saying you have to be a professional coder. If you know how to build a simple, drag and drop website, you can make money. And, that's just an example of investing in yourself and investing in knowledge, because, at that point, like I said, the possibilities are really endless. And, Facebook ads, Google ads, all these type of different platforms are all examples of skills that you can continue to build. So that way you're just a more valuable person, because, at the end of the day, you get paid to the value that you bring to the world. And so, if you can keep building yourself to become as valuable as possible, the more you build that value, the more you'll get paid accordingly.
Yeah. And I like the story you told about how, when you learn how to build a website, you can sell that. Because we have a friend that actually took, he didn't take our e-commerce course. He took, some worse e-commerce courses. But it's not hard to build a site, right? And he learned how to build a site from whatever the bad e-commerce course he took was. But with that site building, what he did is he created a social media marketing agency, right? And he actually landed a client recently that was a lawyer, and the lawyer paid him $4,300 just to design his website. Now, this kid doesn't have any coding experience. He doesn't really have, honestly, any more experience than anyone that watched our course would have. But since he knew how to build a website, and I don't think it was Shopify, it might have been WordPress or Wix, he literally made $4,000 just to spend. I think building a website, honestly, with these platforms takes no more than like 2 to 3 hours. He spent 2 to 3 hours, made $4,000. That is, that's good use of your money. Another thing that Mike talked about that I want to mention is the fact that once you have these skills, right, there's more that you can do with the skill than what you see on the surface level, right? So what do I mean by that? Is a drop shipping skill, right? Building a website, running ads, making sales, closing sales, everything, closing suppliers. Right? At first, you might think the only thing it's good for is, everything I just said. But what you're not thinking about is how you can leverage that skill and create a personal brand out of it. What me and Mike did is we took the skills that we have from drop shipping and are now leveraging it to provide a service to the world, which is teach that skill to people like yourself watching this and help you succeed. That's the highest level, guys. The ironic part about money is the more you make, the more other people will pay you to talk to you. Guys like Grant Cardone make over $1 million a week from their e-commerce store, and their e-commerce store isn't drop shipping; it's just selling courses, and people will pay him $25,000 just to have one conversation. So when people ask me like, "Oh, isn't your drop shipping business making you enough? Why do you need to charge for mentorship?" It's like one has nothing to do with the other. I'm literally just taking my skills and using them to help others and ultimately create another business, another stream of income for myself.
Exactly. And I guess that's kind of the second part of it is building that personal brand, because, it's crazy how much power influencers have. And, you'll see people on Instagram, TikTok, social media. If you have that big following and, people care about what it is you have to say, you can really sell them anything. If you can build that trust with people. I know a guy on Twitter who has 80,000 followers, and he sells a $50 course, and he's able to make like 60 to 70 grand a week selling a cheap course. He's literally leveraging his personal brand. He's helping a lot of people because, I bought his course myself, even though I didn't need it. It was like some random, I don't even remember what it was, but I bought the course myself and I went through it. It was a valuable course. And like I said, he can make 60 grand a week just from leveraging his personal brand. And so that's really the power of having influence.
Yeah. A big difference between me and Mike, honestly, is a lot of the people teaching dropshipping are honestly making more from their personal brand than dropshipping. But for us, that's actually not the truth. Like I can tell you guys, do I think my personal brand will be worth a lot one day? Yes. But as of this moment, I promise you my personal brand is by no means profitable, our personal brand, and we make all of our money from dropshipping. And the only reason why I'm so confident that our personal brand will be successful is because of how authentic we actually are. You know, we really are practicing everything we preach. There's not a single thing we said on this podcast that we do not preach. And ultimately, we are actually making money from it, which is why we know that our personal brand is going to flourish, because anyone that's taking any of our students, any of our mentees are going to learn legitimate information. And I mean, obviously, if you can't succeed with it, unfortunately, it's really on you.
Yeah, and that's the worst thing that I really hate to see is, you know, people making a lot of money from things that they didn't even succeed in themselves, but they still sell it. If that makes sense, it's such a backward concept that, you know, people would sell a course on something they didn't succeed in, and you know, like I said, that is really the worst kind of people. You know, anyone who will take advantage of people's willingness to learn and, you know, sell them garbage. And you're like I said it on the last live stream, I just hate to see it because, you know, you have these people who I feel like self-help and entrepreneurship are kind of a lot of times mixed together. And so, you know, self-help is a real thing, although I hate the connotation behind it. You know, if you say the word self-help, it's like, oh, like you must like hate your life. Like you're following these random gurus. Like that's obviously not it. It's people just really wanting a better life for themselves. Again, might sound corny, a better life for themselves. And so, you know, a lot of times entrepreneurship is that outlet to a better life. And so, you know, our goal is always to kind of just help people who want that vehicle and who want more for themselves. And, you know, I get really fulfilled just seeing our students make sales. You know, at this point, I've said it, I get more excited from our students' sales than our own sales, which, you know, I hope means a lot to everyone watching, because, you know, it definitely means a lot to me.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said it, Mike, because, you know, I'm still, unfortunately, getting more hyped over my own sales. But but yeah, that leads to the next segue, right? So, guys, we've covered. Let's talk about all the things we've covered so far. The best investments are a cash flow positive system, which we believe the best one right now is e-commerce. Then taking that cash flow positive system and investing it into long-term high-yielding stocks. Once you've saved enough, start buying real estate, and then ultimately, when you feel comfortable, build your own personal brand. A personal brand is really, you know, it's an evergreen type of investment. You know, once you have followers on Instagram or a social media platform, you know, you have people that are going to follow you for months that may never message you, and then 5 months later DM you and want to buy your program. You know, that's, each follower is honestly a potential lead, and a personal brand really is, you know, what's taking people from levels of 20 to 30 grand a month to, you know, 200 to 300 grand a month and more. And, you know, as long as you're actually legitimate with everything you're teaching, then there's no reason why your personal brand won't do really well. So we still have a bonus investment that we didn't include yet, and that is investing in people you believe in. Guys, I really can't say this enough. If you find someone that you believe in, then it can honestly be, again, an evergreen investment. And a perfect example is my counterpart here, Michael. If you want to give the story, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Jared made it in high ticket himself. You know, he was making a lot of money. You know, he saw I was doing my own thing. You know, I've said before, I've tried the eBay dropshipping. I tried building an AliExpress brand, which I might bring back one day. It was called Destiny Caps. Fire hats. I think I only made 1 or 2 sales. Yeah, you know, after trying these businesses, after, you know, reading so many books, falling asleep to entrepreneurship, motivational YouTube videos like every single night, you know, Jared kind of, I guess, saw something in me per se, and was like, hey, I'll lay out the money for you in return for a percentage of your business. Like, let's do it. You know, he believed in me, which, you know, I'll be forever grateful for. And I mean, now he just reaps the benefits of my success per se, which, you know, I don't have a problem with, because I know that I wouldn't be in this position without him believing in me. But, you know, like I said, really just, it goes to show the real value of believing in someone and then sticking your money out for them.
Yeah.
It's really powerful. Jared, I think you would also say the same. I think you had a similar experience.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, I see in the chat, we have Build Assets Online here. So those guys, they actually were the ones that invested in me. They believed in me. They gave me the opportunity. And obviously, it paid off very well for both of us. So I saw that, to get to see the power of investing in someone you believe in across my own life was so powerful for me, because I saw how well it worked for them, right? So, when I first came across e-commerce, me and Mike lived in school together. We had 5 other roommates. And I remember I came back to college that summer, pretty much telling all my roommates, guys, I have the secret to success. I understand the secrets. And not a single one of them honestly flinched except Mike. So ultimately, we lived together and we just started talking about this stuff every single day. And it wasn't hard for me to see that Mike had what it took to succeed. That's the thing, guys. It won't be hard for you to see if someone has what it takes. If it's really questionable, then maybe you shouldn't do it. Or better yet, like if, see how you're feeling, right? Like I honestly would talk to him every day. I could tell he was answering questions, asking questions. That's most important, is asking questions. If you've joined our program and you haven't asked us any questions, then that's probably why you're not succeeding yet. The students that are asking us questions are the ones succeeding, because if you take action, you're going to have questions. So ultimately, I believed in Mike, invested money in him, invested guidance, and he has made me, I guess you could say the word would be a lot wealthier than I would have had I not invested in him. Because I'm telling you guys, that is still till this day the best investment I ever made. I don't even want to say that it's the store that Mike built. I have to say Mike, because we started a business together, we failed, and I knew that it wasn't his fault that it failed. I knew it was the business model, which is why we started another business together in the better business model, in the model that we practice, preach, and teach. And that's why he found success, because it was a good business model with a good entrepreneur, with a good support system, money in the bank. And honestly, when you have all that, there's no reason for you to fail.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, it didn't happen overnight by any stretch of the means. But, we kept at it. I kept at it. And like I said, before I even started my first business with Jared, he mentioned to me like, hey, I'm thinking about investing in you. And obviously that got me very excited. And I just thought like, wow, all right, I really need to put the work in. And so I put the work in. And before we even started our first business, Jared said, you need to have the mindset down. I remember like it was yesterday. He was like, I need to make sure like your mindset is 100% spot on. And he made me read a book called The Science of Getting Rich, which we now covet to this day as one of the most important books of success. So if you haven't read it yet, we both highly suggested The Science of Getting Rich. I read it, and from there I just kept continuing to learn, and that's why I always say that when you start any business, you need to have that mindset intact. Because, if my mindset wasn't intact, one, I probably wouldn't have wanted to start a business. 2, I 1,000% would have quit after losing $10,000 on our first business. And 3, I wouldn't have kept going with high ticket as long as, we were another cha-ching. Don't think I didn't hear that. I didn't start seeing the 10K month profit days until 7 or 8 months. So, really sticking with it. I have to thank Jared. I have to thank my mindset also.
Yeah, guys. And that's why we teach the mindset. That's why anyone that joins our program, we always say the first thing you have to do is watch the mindset course. And then you'll be able to honestly have what it takes to succeed. You'll understand success on a much deeper level than if you try to just start e-commerce without the proper mindset, without reading books, without understanding what it's going to take to be successful. So if you join our program, as always, start with the mindset course. If you don't join our program, then read the book The Science of Getting Rich. You may not understand it the first time you read it. I definitely didn't, but read it a bunch of times. Honestly, make it your duty to master that book. I told myself, the better I understand this book, the better I'll do in life. And till this day, I literally listen to a chapter every single day. And I still believe that a lot of it is because of that book. I have friends that are doing very well for themselves now, and they've studied that book on the same level I have. And ultimately, if you were to ask me what's the difference between a successful entrepreneur and a not successful, I would honestly give a lot of credit to understanding the science of getting rich. So, check out that book, guys. This obviously isn't an advertisement. We didn't even put an affiliate link to the book. We just read it and it changed our lives. So, here we are recommending it to you. So I
Absolutely.
guess at this point, I think we can start answering some of the questions.
Yeah, for sure.
You want me to go? Or?
Yeah.
The first,
you
I see Nicholas Renner. What's up, Nick? He said, how many products are generally within each of your stores? Obviously, unfortunately, we can't answer that question because our stores, some of them are huge, some of them aren't that big, but most of our stores have at least, how many products does your store have, Mike? I know my main one has like 3,000.
I would say, honestly, listed probably like 1,000. Out of ones that I sell, no more than like 300, honestly.
Yeah, that's the thing, Nick, is it's not really about how many products your store has. It's about finding products that sell. So in the end of the day, just keep adding new products and you'll find something that's going to make you a lot of money one day. As long as you're working on our system, running the ads correctly, the site looks good, you'll find something, that can make you some money. I see Zach O'Neill. What's good, Zach? You guys are dope. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Nicholas, again, if some of my products that have accessories that come with it that cost decent amount less, should I add them to my store or just leave them out? That's a good question. It really does depend on the price, but for the most part, I have all my accessories listed for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah. Quick story. I had this one supplier who we sell pretty good amount. And when we first launched them, they only had like 7 main products. And I only launched the expensive ones. And I didn't launch the accessories. And I swear the first like week, I had like 5 people message me like, "Hey, I'm ready to buy. Where are the this and this accessories? Just go take the time, list the accessories because, one, customers want them, and 2, you probably want them too. It's always nice to upsell customers on anything else that you can increase that average order value.
Yeah, 100%. That's the thing. The accessories can increase average order value. Or if they're expensive enough, people might just buy them. They might just buy them at, if it's a $500 accessory, it could be worth selling, separately. J-Band, how y'all feel about sports cards? I honestly don't feel any way about sports cards. I've never looked into it. I don't know anything about selling sports cards. Mike?
Yeah, I know Gary V. I'm not a huge Gary V guy. I'm a pretty big Gary V guy. And so I know he always talks about sports cards. I mean, I think it kind of takes a lot of research. You kind of have to find like those really valuable sports cards. I mean, listen, that stuff like that, things like flipping products on eBay, those are great ways to, build up and save your money to start something like high ticket ecom. It's like getting a job. You need money to start off with any business. And so, things like flipping sports cards, things on eBay, that's a good way to build up that money. But it's not a real business, So at the end of the day, the goal should be to build an asset like high ticket dropshipping.
Yeah, an asset that you can sell in the long run. That's something like that is literally just flipping. It's not a real business. It's just some side cash. I would say do that if you want, make a few $1,000s, invest that few thousand wisely, and then you'll never have to do it again. But definitely not a bad starting point. If you have no money and you want to, get your feet off the ground. Obviously, if you have zero money whatsoever, you got to do something to get money, whether it's find someone to invest in you, work a job, or do something like that. You got to do something. So, Nicholas Renner, if I can have many different versions of a product, which each version has different prices, should I put them all in or just pick the higher price ones only? I would definitely say pick them all. Put them all in. Right, Mike?
Yeah. Listen, you never know with customers, You might as well, if you're going to close the supplier, you might as well just list everything you have. And, I mean, listen, after that initial listing, you'll find out over a period of time, you'll find out what customers want and what they don't want. So, you don't lose anything from just listing them.
Yep. Nick blowing us up. Tony Robbins is the man. Yes, he is. Valdez talking about compound interest. I know I shouted that out in the live stream. Great quote, Valdez. Very true. Nathaniel, what's up? Nicholas, dad bought his house for $95K. We live in Ohio. That was 20 years ago. Now it's worth $180K. That is a great story, Nicholas. I'm glad you shared that, honestly. Valdez, glad to hear you guys are cool with questions. Yes, we are. Peter said Vegas soon.
Well, you skipped Pete's original. He said Mike is a John. Pete, I think
Okay, all right.
I think you spelled goat wrong. So check your spelling.
No, John's a good thing. E-commerce has 100 years left. That is 100% right, Pete. It probably has 1,000 years left, million even. I don't. As long as human beings are still alive, e-commerce will be alive. That's 100% true. Vegas soon, absolutely. The lives are going to get much better, guys. Once we're in Vegas, I promise you, better camera equipment, better studio, better everything. It'll just be better. Build assets online, the real drop shippers of Staten Island. Yeah, I mean, Mike is from Long Island, but have y'all trademarked any of your brands? Build assets. We've done it, Nick. Really pointless for 95%. Thank you for answering that. When I go to make a sale, my product is 20K and I don't have 20K. I can collect it first and order my supplier. I don't technically need a credit card. That is correct, Nick. Technically, you do not need a credit card, but credit cards do give you cash back, which obviously, when you're doing 500K a month in sales, think about it. That's 500K on a credit card. If you have the Capital Spark Capital One, that's 2%. 500K, 2%. That's an extra $10,000 a month that you'd be missing out on if you're not using a credit card. So use a credit card if you can, but technically you don't need it. But like I said, if you're not using one, you're missing out on a lot of money over the long run.
Yep. We got Wallace D. Waddles really is a goat, honestly. J-Bands, how does that investment work when you invest in somebody as a business? I mean, I guess it kind of depends on what you mean by that exactly, J-Bands, but I mean, it's literally as simple as we just put on his credit card, honestly. I mean, it did help that he had a good amount of money, not only saved up, but coming in from his first high ticket store. But yeah, I mean, it's really that simple. You agree on a percentage of stake in the company, and I mean, you're pretty much good from there, which, now he makes passive income on my first store just from that belief in me, which is pretty crazy.
It definitely is crazy. And yeah, definitely great investment. If you're going to work with someone, J-Bands, you need everyone to know their roles. When I see partnerships fail, it's really from lack of knowing roles. So, me and Mike knew our roles. Me and Build Assets Online, when we worked together, we knew our roles. Every partnership that I've been successful with is when both partners knew their role. If you're going to go into business with someone and, you're going to be on equal playing field, you gotta map out the roles. Otherwise, it will not succeed. I don't care how smart you both are. I don't care. If you guys do not know your role, nothing will get done. You won't succeed. Sports Mafia, you can download a free PDF of the Science Getting Rich online. Just Google it. That's awesome. I did not know that. Thank you. Also, guys, you can listen to it on Spotify or Apple Music. That's what I do. I don't even read it anymore. I just listen to it every day. I don't listen to the whole book every day. I used to listen to the whole book every day, but now I just do a chapter a day, and I just pick randomly which one.
And they say a chapter a day keeps the broke away. So.
That is true. Sleazy F, what do you do when you have days that lack of motivation to work on your business? Is that from a lack of why? That is a great question, Sleazy. Honestly, Mike, I guess we'll both answer it. So I would say, a lot of days actually, believe it or not, a lot of days where I lack motivation, I do well with sales. I don't know what it is, but that keeps me having to work. That's the thing. Once your business is actually taking off, it's not about even being motivated anymore. It's the fact that you have a duty, right? When you have customers, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month going through your store, it isn't even about being motivated. It's about the fact that someone needs to take care of it. And if you don't, no one will. In the position you're in, honestly, it could be from lack of a why. It could be from your habits. If you're eating like crap, if you're getting drunk, that type of stuff makes you less motivated. Not to say that we don't do that stuff too, but we know our balance. So Yeah, it could be lack of why, it could be bad habits, but at the end of the day, push yourself, have whys, write them down, push yourself, and eventually what will happen is you'll see results, and that will make you more motivated.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jared said it pretty well. For me personally, like I said, my whys are very, very powerful in everything that I do. I think, I don't know, it sounds like it's like motivation and then happiness is another side of the coin. Like, not to say that there are not days where I wake up and I don't want to do anything, because, everyone has shitty days. Happiness is kind of like a state of mind. It's like nobody is happy every day of the week for every week of the year. It's like you kind of have to find out what makes you happy, and as simple as it sounds, do those things. Like go out of your way to do the things that make you happy, and whatever it is that makes you unhappy, don't be in a position where where you're doing those things. And obviously habits, like we've mentioned, like Jared mentioned, and like we'll continue to mention, habits go a long, long way in your productivity. Something as small as how you wake up. If you think about the difference it can make, if you wake up and the first thing you do is scroll through Instagram for 20 minutes, as opposed to waking up, meditating, visualizing your goals. So whether you believe that meditation works or visualization works, think about what kind of state of mind you're putting yourself into scrolling through Instagram and thinking about your goals. And that's just one example of habits. And imagine you do that every single day, how much of a better state of mind you'll be in, and how much more productive you'll want to be when you start your day off that way.
Yeah, honestly, just get your whys in order. Honestly, set a time of the day for you to just put the work in. Make sure you're allowed or not allowed. Make sure that you work 1 to 2 hours a day every day. Honestly, just force yourself to do it until it's not even going to be a habit. It's going to be your life. So, if your whys aren't strong enough, you can get there. Beijing Ting. So you're not allowed to have a price lower than MAP on Google Ads, but when can you offer a discount to customers? Do they have to call for it? Do you only offer it for the sake of closing the sale? Great question, Beijing Ting. So what we do is we run email pop-ups. So MAP is only for the Google ad itself. So when a customer is on your website, obviously if they call you, you can give them a lower price, or you can do what we do, which is we run a pop-up. The app we use is Privy. We typically only offer 2% on the pop-up. If customers call, then sometimes we'll offer 5%. But yeah, we do the email pop-up, and that's how we offer discounts to our customers.
Yeah, MAP stands for minimum advertising price. So as long as you're advertising it for that baseline price. I know you ended the question with, do you only offer it for the sake of closing a sale? Our motto is do whatever it is that you have to do to close the sale. Even if you're only profiting, $300 as opposed to $400 or $500, that little profit is better than not making the sale at all. And so, all of our stores, we always advertise the low price guarantee, price match guarantee. So if anybody else is selling it for a price, we'll beat it. And it's kind of just the mentality is whatever we make on the sale is better than not making the sale.
Yeah, think about the sale as like protecting your bottom line in a way. It's for me, it's like I would make the sale as long as it'll produce profit, because that gives me more time to spend on ads. I always look at it like that. All right, I made $200 profit. The ads are covered for the day. I made $300, now I'm profitable. $400, good day, etc. At this point, my store typically spends $1,200 to $1,300 a day in ads. So, we make sales just to cover the ad spend, and then obviously everything on top of that's profit. We spend honestly $1,200 a day, and the profit typically is between $2,000 and $3,000. So it produces great returns. But yeah, offer a discount so you can protect your bottom line, but don't go too crazy, because there's no reason to risk a chargeback that could be detrimental to your company for no profit. If you make a $5,000 sale and profit $500, it's not even that good. If it's under 20%, it's not that great. But yeah, if you make a $5,000 sale and profit nothing, it's not even worth the risk of chargeback or the risk of an angry customer because it broke or whatever the case is. It's not worth the risk unless the profit is good. So, be smart with the discounts you offer, be wise, and yeah.
And I mean, Sean said that's a powerful message about getting your mind right. Absolutely. You got to if your mind's not right, the rest of everything else is going to be off. So absolutely, Nick Renner, morning routine is everything in all caps. I'm glad you put it in all caps, Nick, because it really is. How you start your day really will determine how the rest of your day goes. So I couldn't stress it anymore. Valdez said, one of your stores selling paper, Mike. Honestly, as soon as you wrote that, I didn't understand it. I was like, did I say something about selling paper? Jared, I'm sure you don't get it, but shout out Dunder Mifflin. Absolutely. I'm a big office guy. Sean says, LOL at Valdez. His name is Michael Scott today. I mean, Post Malone said, I love paper like a Michael Scott. So, I mean, I do love my paper.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any other questions in the chat. Sleazy says, thanks, guys. As I usually end these live streams, thank you guys. I know a handful of you, just from writing in the chat, have been with us this entire 70-minute live stream. It means a lot. We love giving value to people, and we really appreciate that you guys are watching these, interacting with us, asking these questions, so thank you. If you're watching this and you're not in the program yet, check us out at havemorethanmoney.com. If you're looking for somewhere to start, we said The Science of Getting Rich, but a number 2 awesome book is a book that Jared wrote himself, How to Have More Than Money. Go to our website, havemorethanmoney.com. Put in your email and download your free PDF book. It's an awesome read. It's an awesome place to get started. Jared, is there anything else you want to add?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, awesome. Yeah, so I mean, if you guys like what you saw, swing us a thumbs up, like, subscribe, comment below what you want to see us talk about next.
Before you wrap it up, who disliked that? Who disliked the video? Let's not know. Who's the tough guy?
We want your name, whoever it was. Drop a comment below, and whatever you want to talk about, we'll debate it. No,
yeah. Whatever your issue is, please let us know.
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch